Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 here with the hot dog cast.
Whoa.
Heyo.
Yeah. But welcome. As you can see, it's all the MaliceCast nerds and geeks and guys on the cast this week. Our female persuasion super Whedon freak is currently in Vegas doing karaoke with some actors and actresses from Supernatural. So she thought that was more important than us, and I would agree. Yeah.
So, I've seen some of the pictures. It's going to be worth it.
Yeah. It looks like she's already taken some tango pictures with David Hayden Jones in tango format with the arms out, and I don't know if they actually tangoed or just posed for the photo that way. She said they tangoed. I don't know. And she said he actually remembered who she was, which we were posing that question last week. And we haven't asked her yet if he already gave her the restraining order papers, but so stay tuned for that one. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be talking all things nerd that have happened in television, pop culture, and movies. This week, a little bit better on the news front than last week, where we were talking about killer teddy bears and whatever the heck I could find to talk about, because there wasn't much to talk about. This week, we got DC Extended Universe things to talk about. We've got Hasbro stuff to talk about. We've got Mark Hamill finally getting a star to talk about, all types of stuff. So make sure that you join us in the chat room and let us know your thoughts on the topics that we discuss. But before we get into that, let's talk about who's here on the cast. You have me, Mr. Mest 5150, coming from the ones and twos and talking about the subjects we'll talk about. And then we have my right-hand man, Beacon, joining us with his fantastic new poster.
Yes, my fantastic Shape of Water poster, which I absolutely love and adore, because that movie is just, it's Guillermo. It's Guillermo. That's an adjective now. Guillermo is an adjective.
As I've said multiple times, that movie is maybe the most Guillermo thing I've ever seen.
And it's amazing.
I would take a poster of just Guillermo.
I'm going to do a quick plug, because if you haven't been listening to the Quest for 100, you absolutely need to listen to the Quest for 100. And you need to listen to episode 2, where we talk about Shape of Water, and I tell an amazing, amazing Shape of Water story. So,
yeah. And both those are here on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Malice Corp, if you don't know where you're at. And they are also posted on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Malice Corp.
And iTunes and Stitcher. So make sure that you check those audio casts out on iTunes and Stitcher, and make sure to subscribe and leave a review, letting these guys know how they're doing on that new cast, the Quest for 100. Also joining us, I think, for the first time on Twitch since we've moved over to Twitch, we have Nudie Rudy.
How's it going, everybody? Good to be back. Nice to see y'all.
Glad you're clothed.
For now.
That was like the most tame I've ever heard Nudie Rudy talk. Pie, getting himself all professional. It's okay. We're on Twitch now, not YouTube. It's not... there's a little bit more leniency on things, so
I can curse up a blue streak.
Not a blue streak, but
the tie can go there now.
Depends on how much exercise you want Mest's editing finger to get.
I get no respect, dear. No respect.
Also joining us, who back on the cast. He's missed a couple. We've tried to get him on, but there's been technical difficulties every single week. Igor is back with us. Not in the closet or dark den. Welcome back, Igor. How goes it?
Careful. There are monsters hiding in there.
Whoa.
Not sponsored.
Not a sponsor.
Not sponsored yet.
Definitely not a sponsor.
Not yet.
There is a new article on malice-corp.com reviewing said monster and other energy drinks that give you heart attacks. And no,
Really?
It was
I heard that
pointed
one's
out to
really
me
good.
recently, just based on what Igor said there. It was pointed out to me recently that girls must be attracted to dad jokes, otherwise they'd be known as bachelor jokes.
Hey-o! Nice.
and welcome
Messed
Red
you up a
Meat Paw
contender.
into the chat as well. So
Welcome back.
and Masonic Vader, welcome into the chat as well. We've got a good amount of people in there ready to talk stuff. And lastly, as we always say, save for the last, the best for last. Icy Zorro, welcome back to the cast. We missed you last week.
Thanks. Yeah, I was happy to sit in on the Twitch feed. That was the first time I actually got to watch one of the things without being on it. So that was an experience.
The Twitch feed moves pretty good. I must say that you guys do give us a much better chat going on over there than we usually get on YouTube.
Although you should probably wear protection in the chat room. I'm just saying. It's a little viral.
And
Digital hazmat suit.
Yes.
tying on to the bachelor jokes are bad pickup lines. Dad jokes are everyone who hasn't said something stupid until after they have kids.
Is that possible?
I don't know if you knew this. This is a true fact too. That insanity is hereditary. You actually get it from your kids. So holy, hey, come on.
Yeah, you're married.
He's shaking his head. No.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, we can move on to real.
Yeah, let's move on to the real stuff. Let's talk about sound off in the chat room. Let us know what you guys have been geeking out on. While we've got that going on, I am going to go straight over to Nudie Rudy, who we haven't heard from in a while, and ask him what he's been geeking out on. What type of nerd centric stuff have you been up to, if anything?
Well, yeah, no, I'd mostly have been catching up on some old stuff. I watched some Kimmy Schmidt, finally caught up on that and really enjoyed the crap out of that from recommendation. That's been a lot of fun. And watching a bit of good Fuller House. Yeah, that's nice. And enjoy the crap out of that. Don't judge me.
I'm not.
I love Candace Cameron. She still has my heart.
It's in my queue. Yeah.
And I've been playing a lot of South Park Phone Destroyer from the Gaming Edge. That's a lot of fun, honestly. So
You're still on it, huh?
Oh yeah, still grinding away, man.
I want that legendary.
We got to the. Are you still playing Zorro?
Yes, I am.
So it's just me not playing because of time,
I had to uninstall it, dude. Otherwise, my phone would have been destroyed by now. Like,
throw it at the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. I threw it once and it luckily did not break, and I just handed it to my wife and said uninstall the game because I can't keep going down this road.
There's definitely times when you lose like 7 to 9 matches in a row and you're like, nope.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Been there.
And welcome and Brad to the chat. Also, Masonic Vader has been geeking out in the first 2 episodes of Rebels. A lot of people have been waiting for that to come back. So, and I heard it came back with a vengeance this season. So,
welcome Brad in the chat channel as well. He's been playing some Fortnite. Nice.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten into Fortnite. I still have to catch up with you guys on Monster Hunter.
Different type of game. It's fun.
And Jack Malice did say, did he say Fuller House? Yes, he said Fuller House. So,
yes, no shame in my game.
It is exactly what you think it is, but good for all that.
At this point in your life, I don't think you can have shame anymore. Many things that you have done, it's impossible. If anybody knows Nudie Rudy outside of these walls, you would agree with me on that factor, that there definitely is no possibility for shame. Igor, what have you been geeking out on? Moving along.
Well, now all I can think of is the fishing net. But I wish I were kidding.
Prom night memories.
Yours are still better than mine, man. I wish. Yeah, that's all I got. All I can think of is the prom night memories. I'm stuck.
I feel like that's a backstory we probably shouldn't explore.
Drink some more Monster. Things will come. Sonamaku, welcome to the chat. He's playing Secret of Mana.
Mana.
Mono.
You might claim you have mono so you can stay home and play more.
And Jack Malice is already opening up a vote on the
Rio
chat
Tomato?
room to have Nudie Rudy voted off the island.
Yes.
So, and Masonic Vader says that the Fuller House watching is a removal of your man card.
You know, he said something similar to me the other week. I think he's real obsessed with other people's man cards.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he's collecting everybody's man card.
Shots fired.
Gotta catch 'em all.
What have you been geeking out on, Zoro?
Well, I'm going to get kicked off the island now, too. I spent all those weeks binging Smallville, and now I'm actually watching through the one CW show that I'd never cared to before. I'm like halfway through season 2 of Supergirl.
Wow.
It's decent. It's better than I thought it was. And she's a more likable character than Clark.
Are you getting on the train as Super Hoovy?
No,
You're going to start...
No.
Come join me on the cheesy side, Zoro.
Well, I already love Orville with you.
Indeed.
Hey, Orville did get better. I know Beacon.
We've had this conversation. It didn't.
Yes.
All right.
And Jack's playing Monster Hunter World, as we all know when we watch the stream.
We were literally playing it up to the minute that we had to get on and do this podcast. We were battling Nergigante and getting our butts kicked.
We got more people that like Red Meepaw likes Orville. Nick says Supergirl is a grind. So I'm not looking forward to trying to start watching it because I will eventually catch up on.
Did anybody else finish Discovery?
Yes.
I finished it this week, and it's
yes,
so good,
so good,
so freaking good, man.
Speaking of, is that what you've been geeking out on, Beacon, or what you've been up with?
I've been playing a ton of Monster World, dude. Way too much. But I also saw I had to catch up for we're actually going to record some Quest for 100 tomorrow. I had to catch up, so I saw 5 movies in the last 2 weeks.
Good Lord.
dang.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of movies. A lot of really good movies, a couple not so good movies. What else?
They can't all be good.
Yeah.
You were watching The Stooges?
Why I oughta?
Anyway, wow, that escalated quickly. Yeah, so I just Thank you, I see.
Skull.
That was amazing. Yeah, so just I've been watching a lot of
You
movies.
are welcome.
A lot of Monster Hunter. I caught up on. I finished watching Discovery. I also started watching Altered Carbon. Have you guys seen that one yet?
No, I heard
No,
good things about it.
I was curious.
I'm 4 episodes in, and it is really good. It's really good.
Is his acting better than it was in Suicide Squad? The main actor? No.
Well, I think the storyline plays into. Yeah, it's okay. I think the way that the story goes, it kind of fits with his. He plays the part well, so I'm enjoying it. It's
Nice.
Oh,
yeah, it's
actually,
really.
thank you, Mr. Beacon.
Yeah.
That is one recommendation I can drop that I ran into in the last week or so. A Netflix original that'll cleanse the palate of Bright. If you're one who didn't think too much of that. Before I Wake. Not only really well written, really well acted horror, but one of the central characters is Mr. Thomas Jane. So if you missed him like I did, it's good to see him back.
I love Thomas Jane. He fantastic actor. I still liked his portrayal as the Punisher. So and many other things that he's been in. But since we keep talking about the shows that we're watching on Netflix and stuff, let's get into the nerd news and talk about some of the trailers we watched this week that came out Netflix specific. The title of this week's episode is Taking a Look Back, and that's really what Netflix continues doing. As Nudie Rudy brought up, he's watching Fuller House, so they're going back to the well and getting those things that are nostalgia to us. We had 2 trailers come out. One of them, I personally think looks fantastic and want to see more. Lost in Space had their teaser trailer. Not giving really anything away, but there goes Beacon to watch it.
Danger, Will Robinson.
But no, the 30 seconds that we got, I thought was amazing. I mean, what did you guys think on what you saw?
I thought it looked great.
Yeah. I thought it looked kind of generic. Now, I'm not dropping that as the official opinion because I think they're trying to give us a nice clean setup before everything gets literally busted up and thrown all to hell. But as openings, and especially as here's our new deep space mission as sci-fi goes, it looked like so many others. I have to agree with Mr. Rudy though. I liked the Danger Will Robinson drop at the end.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, and it wasn't too cheesy on it or anything. I like the depth of the voice that they're using for the robot. It has that kind of scare to it. Now, I was trying to count everybody that was going onto the ship. Was the Doctor in that group? Because he comes off as the bad guy.
Who would have been? Out of that group. Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering the same thing.
So I'm wondering if they're just not showing all the cast members now, or whatnot.
I feel like this was more a teaser than a trailer. It was so short; they're not really showing any content of what the show's going to be. Everybody should pretty much know that story by now. I mean, it's like the fourth rehash of it. But what makes me excited about it is the little that we saw of the finished action scenes look pretty high production quality, and honestly, the actress that's playing what's her name, Maureen Robinson or something like that, Molly Parker, she's fantastic. That's Congressman Jackie Sharp from House of Cards, or all the way back in Deadwood, she was Alma. If she's in it, I trust that it's going to be decent.
It's got to be better than the movie.
Good point.
It also doesn't have Matt LeBlanc, so thank God for that.
I don't know. The movie will always have a special place in my heart just for that one scene. Will Robinson, I have a joke for you. You do? Okay, robot, what is it? Will Robinson, why did the robot cross the road? I don't know. Because he was carbon bonded to the chicken.
I don't think I made it through the entire movie, so I was waiting to see what this punchline was going to be. I think I'm glad I didn't make it through the whole movie. But no, I did like
Gary Oldman as a Spider-Man.
I did like the way that they teased everything, because it was like, first it wasn't showing you specifically what it was until you saw Will Robinson's name on the back of his pack, and then they let some stuff, where they said it was lost in space and gave us the voice. So
I dug it. That's pretty cool.
I think 40 seconds has made me like really want to dig in deeper and see how good it's going to be.
I think the teaser did what it was supposed to do. It got me to want to watch the show.
And it kind of changed my mind, because my initial reaction was, oh God, they're remaking Lost in Space again?
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of excited.
Although, if I could nerd rant for one moment, Hollywood. There are plenty of good stories out there you have not told yet. Tell those ones.
I agree.
I've had to say that.
What?
Man.
I harken back to the late 90s when Disney put out Hunchback of Notre Dame. I was like, oh, so Hollywood's empty now. There's no more stories. Because that is not a kid's story.
Let Guillermo make more movies, okay?
Yeah.
Well, Guillermo was trying
in
to
the late 90s.
Some offshoot stories as well. But, if you want to go see some of these fantastic movies that have been made in the past, Amazon is a great place to do your streaming, purchase some of these movies and stuff like that. A great way to get some of your Amazon product is to go to the website that we represent, malice-corp.com. We're over there writing articles. We're doing all types of nerd stuff over there for you. If you're on Destiny, there's a Destiny chat over there. But there's a link to Amazon on there for you to get all your stuff from Amazon. It helps us out. It helps you get your stuff still. And we appreciate it. So definitely head over there and give us a ring of what you think of the site and everything like that. So
check out the very well edited articles.
Mm-hmm. Very well edited.
Yeah, Rudy is our editor in chief, so he has to give a drop to himself. But Sonamaku says Netflix isn't Hollywood, which they're kind of changing the way that Hollywood works. I mean,
it's close enough. They're the content creators, and it seems like content creation. Actually, I mean, we're kind of going through another golden age of it, so I feel like it's gotten better. It's just everybody keeps retreading old stuff.
Yeah. Well, speaking of retreading old stuff, we had our other Netflix trailer that we saw, and such high hopes because this is a near and dear to my heart project. Yes, Beacon, go look up Reboot, and we'll talk to you in about 2 minutes because this is going to be an interesting response.
Better mute.
For those that grew up in kind of our age group range, 80s, 90s, there was a fantastic cartoon called Reboot. It was a Saturday morning cartoon, one of the first fully CGI cartoons out there, taking place with, it was basically Tron in a sense, because it was all the programs doing their games, and there was your bad programs and your good programs. It was a fantastic cartoon, amazing. And I think it only got like a season and a half, if that. Absolutely loved it, and have been waiting for them to reboot and give us something proper and good. Well,
yeah, unfortunately, they didn't update any of the animation.
Nice.
They brought back the skateboard, but they didn't even bring back Glitch.
No, yeah.
The hell.
So, yeah.
You remember the animated interstitials from the Disney afternoon, like between Darkwing Duck and the DuckTales? There'd be like little animated stuff flying around. Yeah, it's that quality from '97.
No.
There is some interesting conversation going on about Nudie Rudy and rubbing in the chat room right now. Welcome, Super, to the chat from Vegas. And yeah, Sonamaku said he thought I was going to say, speaking of retreading old stuff, welcome, Super. But yeah, Red Meat Pod does bring up Netflix, like Amazon, is shaping the world of entertainment, and Amazon is doing that too. They're changing the game on how things work. I like what Netflix is doing with going back to things that were near and dear to us, but this one just looks god awful. It looks like they took the Power Rangers and attached the name of Reboot to it, because it's not even following the story of what it wasn't. People getting powers to go in like Tron was. That's essentially what it looks like to me. Is it's just like a mix of Power Rangers and Reboot, or Power Rangers and Tron. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I did like the villain design. It really did look like it really did look like a half decently cleaned up, and I mean cleaned up compared to how it looks now version. But that's about the only really complimentary thing I can say. Otherwise, it looks like a really
okay. It's fresh on his mind. I need to get Beacon.
Oh yeah,
that was most of our reaction, sir.
We made this man suffer. Let's hear from him.
I'm done. Sorry, guys. Good God, that was terrible. That's an everything you just said, Mess, is an insult to the Power Rangers. Freaking A, dude. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You get the good and you get the bad. Netflix.
You get the big and you have crappy
Facts of life, yeah.
I'd rather watch that.
Well, that's the next reboot I'm waiting for them to end up doing. They just did One Day at a Time. So I was looking for Snyder in the reboot of that. No Snyder.
One last reboot note.
Tootie, Blair.
What? No? Just on a positive note, if you want to see what they are trying to do there, even though it's not reboot, but you want to see it good, there's a Quebecois, I don't know, cartoon from Quebec that did the same thing. Only it was really cool, called Code Lyoko. Check it out. You'll find it on Amazon. Amazon sells everything. Go to our
Sonamaku says Power Rangers and Tron sounds amazing. I agree. This doesn't look amazing over when you look at the reboot trailer. So.
Mest oversold it by mentioning Power Rangers and Tron. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's way oversold. I don't even want to. I was done with it after the trailer. I'll go back and watch the original reboot. You can still get that on DVD through Amazon, through our link on MaliceCorp.com. And watch something that's good, that doesn't need to be changed or tainted. Yeah, so let's move on to a little bit more. I don't know if you could say this is good news, bad news, indifferent. They dropped news. So we've been talking about how Justice League was when it came out, with Joss Whedon coming on and doing a portion of it. People wanting the Snyder cut to supposedly fix it and make it better and everything like that. Well, Joss Whedon was doing the Batgirl movie, which was going to be coming out, I believe, next year or the year after. was supposed to be the next the series 2 of DC films after Wonder Woman 2 comes out, and he just up and left. He's no longer attached to Batgirl anymore. He's not doing it.
Yeah, the quote that I have here from Joss is, Batgirl is such an exciting product, and Warner's DC such collaborative and supportive partners that it took me months to realize I really didn't have a story.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
There's a lot of story there.
What?
Yeah, he said he can't find a good story.
What a freaking tool bag, dude. God,
That,
dude,
to be fair, that might be.
you get handed an amazing opportunity to
No, come on,
really? You
that's
can't
Hollywood.
find a story?
That's Hollywood speak for nobody liked my ideas and I didn't like theirs.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
Hollywood.
I think he was just being polite.
Dude.
Remember,
It's
he's even
Joss,
one of
he
the
can find
oldest.
a story.
Well, that's right.
He's even one of the oldest script fixers out there. So
That's what I want to ask.
Come out and said it.
Igor, I mean, what story would you think? I mean, take into consideration what they've done with the DCEU so far.
Maybe he should have consulted an oracle.
Yeah.
tonight, the part of Rudy will be Igor will be played by Nudie Rudy. I'm just going to take a nap here.
I mean, what do you think that they could easily have just done her origin properly with how they've changed things up? I mean, it's
Yeah, actually, her story, and of course, this being comic books, I have to say Barbara Gordon, because somebody will see this at some point and say, "Oh, really? We're not talking about Cassandra." But anyway, but yeah, her story fits in with the way they've been trying to do the DC cinematic universe, because it goes with Batman, not fangirl, but just like, hero worship from the daughter of the police commissioner who's been helping him the entire time, to successful crime fighter who partners up in her own right, who partners up with him, to fighting all the DC supervillains and some others outside of DC, all the Gotham. Retires, and spoiler alert, if anybody who doesn't know this too well, spoilers, gets shot and crippled by the Joker, turns that around and becomes like the most powerful information broker on the entire DC Earth, and becomes the tech guru for the Justice League of America. And it continues forward from there. But that goes from the capes and the kapows and the cheese to the dark and the grit. If you pace it well, that's an epic. Basically it was an epic right there. So just break it up into separate movies, and DC, Warner, you have the stories you've obviously been wanting to tell anyway, right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the articles I was reading about this. They were saying if you go to Gail Simone's run of Batgirl alone, there's more than enough great stories that they could have done, that they explore Barbara's trauma and recovery after attack. So
they've proven that well enough that fans will go and watch these movies. They stick with the original source material instead of change it. There's so much good material to go to with all of these comics that people love and are well-tested, great stories. Just tell them.
Well, here's when you say what a tool, here's one of the follow-up comments from Whedon about this. I'm grateful to Jeff Johns and Toby Emmerich and everyone who was so welcoming when I arrived and so understanding when is there a sexier word for failed? So at least he's embracing that he just straight failed on this, not being able to get it done. But I mean, what does that mean? Yeah, yeah.
For failed. Like it.
The sexier word for failed, Tommy Wiseau.
But what does this mean for the DCEU, for the DC movies? Because there's been rumors that Snyder's going to be gone, that he's going to be stepping away from DC completely as well. Now you've got Whedon, who was in the, basically took what Snyder's project was, and they're saying he was told by the heads of DC to hack it up to what he made Justice League, that it wasn't actually his idea to do everything that he did to it, that 50 minutes of Snyder's Justice League was cut out because the heads went to Whedon and said, you need to change this. And then, of course, Whedon got backlashed for that because it's like, we want the Snyder cut. This movie's not as what we were expecting and everything like that. So now you're potentially losing Whedon and Snyder. I mean, we know that Wonder Woman was a great movie. Is that the way that we're going to go with these things? Are they going to bring in people? What do you think? Do you think there isn't any recovery from this, Beacon, or
how about we go back to, this is just a suggestion. It may not be a good one, okay? But how about we go back to besides Wonder Woman, the last great DC movie?
Superman 2?
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Christopher Nolan.
Well, because Christopher Nolan was producing with Snyder, so he was part of that. But he doesn't want to direct anymore. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, and I think DC needs a Kevin Feige type like Marvel has. They need somebody that's going to just have carte blanche to orchestrate the whole thing overall.
That's true.
And people generally think of DCEU as a Zack Snyder thing, but we've already kind of proven that people are tired of his style. You know, they weren't going great. It was too dark, too gritty. The ones that people have been responding to lately are the ones like Wonder Woman and to a much lesser extent Justice League, where there's a little bit of a sunnier cast to it, a little more brightness rather than just gloom and Zack Snyder all the time. But yeah, so if it's not going to be Snyder, it's not going to be Whedon. They need to find somebody that's going to take overall charge of the DCEU.
If you want to talk about even more turmoil with DC, there's still problems with them finding a director for the Flash film. One of the actors that was said to be in the Flash film is talking about dropping out. And then you talk about what's going on with Batman and Batfleck and him, all the turmoil that's going there. I don't know if there's any recovery from any of this. There's nothing but bad things being heard outside of, like I said, Wonder Woman's the only one that, hey, we've got positive things. We want to make more. We want to do this. Everybody else is just falling apart in the universe.
Speaking of Batfleck, I say we give Batgirl to Kevin Smith. He's a huge Bat fan. Let's see what he does with it. Get Batfleck and him reunited.
I did that. Yes. Let him have the whole DCU. All right, just let him have it.
Yeah, run with it.
DCEU in association with View Askew Productions.
DCE View Askew.
Oh man,
Lord, that would be so awesome.
Well, and that's what Jack is saying in the chat room, that he wants a kick-ass Flash movie before the DCEU dies. Please give him Flashpoint first. Which Flashpoint is what they're doing. They've said the major rumors that Dr. Light is going to be the main villain in it. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but
I just want Jay and Silent Bob to do the Stan Lee style cameos in every movie if Smith takes over.
Yes, please. And then Big Papa Matt was talking about using Flashpoint, and I'm agreeing with him as a way for them to kind of reboot, and that's honestly the great storyline in the DCEU is Flashpoint allowing you to really just start over and tell another story. Without necessarily killing the actual, you know what I mean? And they don't have to do what like Marvel's had to do before, or X-Men's had to do before, because Flashpoint allows you to just reboot without having to necessarily reboot. So allows you to get back to what you want to do.
There is another thing that might or might not already be happening, because this is quite literally just the rumor mill. This is literally the talk around the comic book shops. But one positive thing I'm hearing is that supposedly there were already some plans for, as in these plans were there, but leave the central EU, but make a sub EU where it was just whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, they're doing the Elseworld stuff.
Whatever. But that's what I'm saying. I wonder, will that come to the forefront now? Because that could actually save their butts, not only in the most direct sense, but it would even differentiate them really widely from Marvel. If they just started pulling from wherever chronologically and went, all right, this movie or this pair of movies or this trilogy are over here, and this one's completely over there. Whatever. We're just going to make the stories you want to see.
Interesting idea. Do something different.
Who knows?
Because they said the Joker film is supposed to go into development as soon as May this year, actually starting to get ready to film and stuff like that. So it's sounding like the whole Joaquin rumor is going to end up happening, that he is getting cast as the Joker origin film. So
wow, that's a great example, because that story that's been released so far has nothing to do with what's been released in the comics so far, and in this case, that could be a very good thing.
Hey, SYL Betterfoot, thank you for the Twitch Prime subscription. We do appreciate that. Anybody else that wants to subscribe, if you already have Amazon Prime, what a great way to contribute to this cast and to Malice Corp in general by just go in and click on the little crown that's at the top of your screen if you're on mobile device, or just going and clicking on Twitch Prime, and you can register and subscribe, and it helps us out. So thank you guys.
Yeah, Mako brings up that the animated films do what we're asking for, and they do it amazingly. Gotham by Gaslight.
Killing Joke, dude. Oh my goodness.
And on a side note, then, and Brad, I feel you too, but I like your taste for what it's worth.
Yeah, Masonic Vader brings up if they bring Darkseid in and actually let him live through one film, that can help save the DCU. You know, that's giving us our Thanos when you get Darkseid into the, you know, what Marvel's doing. It's a faster pace for DC. It's Darkseid. It's pronounced Darkseid. Darkseid. But DC took a completely different approach to it because they had to catch up to Marvel, so they're running through everything really fast, whereas Marvel had that timeline. I mean, they just did their, what they call it, their graduation photo or something like that, where it was all the actors that have been in Marvel films over the last 10 years. Just this massive, huge photo. And
it's like half the population of California.
Yeah. So they had that time to grow. DC wants to compete, but they don't want to take that time to try and grow and get to that forefront. So they
did take that time and flopped over and over and over again until they finally hit Wonder Woman to launch it. They tried.
Yeah, but still it was faster than how long it took Marvel to really get to Avengers. I mean,
when was that first travesty of a Hulk? That was a while back.
That was before Iron Man. The first travesty was before Iron Man. The Hulk with Edward Norton came after Iron Man, and that was actually a good Hulk film. You know, Ed Norton was supposed to continue on, but he didn't want just the paycheck films. He wanted to move on and go back to doing something more artistic. So, plus he wanted a huge paycheck if he was going to stay on, and they weren't doing it.
Chat room's on my side, or as you would say, seed.
Listen to the pronunciations in the actual movies and cartoons. They pronounce it as seed.
Wes really loves him some seed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Because they say Ra's al Ghul in Arrow instead of Raish.
Raish. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it's agree to disagree type of thing.
I get what Rudy was saying though. Like DC, they may have jumped both feet in ever since the MCU got huge, but overall they've had so many different versions of Batman and Superman. They've had years and years to build this up into something bigger, and like Rudy was saying, they've just failed over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. SYL Barefoot says that Edward Norton as the Hulk was one of the rare comic book movies he actually liked. And Brad makes a great point. DC has the bigger names and thought they didn't need to put the work of universe building into it, and it clearly shows that they did. So,
yeah. They're like the kid that was in all the gifted programs in elementary school that gets to high school and they're like, I don't have to try.
Well, look at Black Panther this week. Black Panther's been out a week, and it's already made more than Justice League did in its entire domestic run. And is getting rave reviews and stuff like that. So
a really good movie.
Oh, it's a fantastic film.
Got great casting. It's got great music. It's got great directing, great cinematography, and it's got an awesome kick-ass story.
And it's got Gollum and Bilbo.
Yeah, the Tolkien white guys.
The Tolkien white guys, yeah.
A joke that has been running around the internet for the last week.
I missed it. Hit me good.
Well, going back even more into troubling for DCEU, they announced that we have a director in talks to do a Dungeons and Dragons film, which hopefully we were talking about this before the cast. Hopefully it's not as bad as the Dungeons and Dragons film that came out with the Wayans brother in it. And, Yeah.
Pretty sure it was Marlon. Was it Marlon? Maybe Sean. I don't know.
No, it was Marlon. It was Marlon that was in it. So
Whatever. Yeah.
it was a terrible film. But no, the director of Lego Batman is in talks to direct Dungeons and Dragons. Don't know if we're getting a live action, if it's going to be a Lego Dungeons and Dragons.
I get that.
I was actually thinking
I would watch that. Yeah.
I'd watch
I
that.
could go for a feature length like that Saturday morning cartoon show movie, like from the 80s D&D show. That was amazing.
Yeah. Let's see. This is what we got. So the property was at the center of a legal battle over its film rights, with the 2015 settlement appearing to have paved the way for Warner Brothers to make a movie on the property. So he's signed with Warner Brothers Paramount. So, and yeah, they're saying it's a full movie that they're looking at to make. But the big deal with this is the director, Chris McKay, is also the director that's in line to direct Nightwing for the DCEU, which was going to be another movie that they were saying was going to be the one that was going to help save things for this universe.
You really shouldn't have your DM splitting his energies like that.
So now we have another situation for DC where your director that you have set up for Nightwing is going and moving on and doing this other project for a different company, so he's not going to be there to do your saving film that you're talking about. I'm assuming it was a factor of, as Big Papa Matt said last week, they weren't able to get Robin cast back into it, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I think DC just needs to stick to their cartoons. They make amazing cartoons.
And CW shows. They got a solid base there.
Well, I mean, like, as far as films go, like, they need to, if they had released all of those that were straight to DVD and straight to Netflix, all those DC movies, if they had released those into the theater, I think they would have done awesome.
We're getting some great stuff about a Lego Dungeons and Dragons in the chat. We've got Lego Dungeons and Dragons. Someone gets mad and takes off their head and throws it at the DM.
Jack has a shout out to our friends over at Battle Mage. He plays some D&D over there quite often, and he's lobbying for the DMs of the Battle Mage Dungeons and Dragons game to be in the movie. And
yeah, I think if they're going to be doing a full-on D&D movie, they need to source some of that writing to people that actually play the game on the regular. Like, I've dealt with very few DMs, Jack Malice being one of them, but just the complexity and detail that those guys bring to their stories, I'm sure they'd fit right in Hollywood.
We have one of the DMs in our chat right now. Jeremy expressed this. He's one of the DMs. So.
There we go.
Welcome to the chat. Yeah, I agree with you. They do need to get some people that know this. I mean, look what happened with World of Warcraft. That movie was horrific, and I think if you would have gotten people that were more delved into that world, it would have been hopefully something better than what we ended up getting. That was trash. So.
I didn't bother to go see it, and I played that game for like 7 years straight, like a drug addict.
Well, I watched it because I loved the people that were cast into it. I mean, Ruth Negga and your other guy from Preacher, the main guy, the guy that played Angel in X-Men. I can't remember all their names, but yeah, I liked the cast that was in it. It just, the movie was terrible. And when Duncan Jones showed us the teaser for it at Comic-Con, it looked like it was going to be amazing. It just, when it takes 2 years from when something's supposed to come out to finally come out, that's usually a telling sign that it's not going to be what was hoped, that you had to keep cutting stuff and everything. So they did say hopefully in the room that they hope that that Nightwing is not dead in the water. I don't think it will be. It's just they may have to move on to a different a vision for it, because I don't know how he can do both. And McKay he's been attached to good projects, so I don't think he's gonna bring us something bad. Although, wasn't he? No, he wasn't. No, never mind.
Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts.
So,
Sorry, I'm trying to read the chat room. It's moving really quick, and there's some really good things going on inside there. But I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think this could be a tentpole that we could actually get a proper Dungeons and Dragons franchise going? Or
I feel
it's going to be like every video game nerd property that's taken before and just not meet up to the.
That's the problem. You have to do it just right because people have such specific expectations. They want that feeling of what it's like when they're actually playing the game when they're watching the movie, which is nearly impossible because they don't have control over the characters, the story at all. We don't want to end up with another, previous Dungeons and Dragons movie or the Bob Hoskins Mario Brothers. These things were terrible. I know. I'm sorry. But it's going to be about how much control the writers and director have versus the studio, because the studio is going to want to mess things around to make sure they hit their target demographics and deal with the testing panels. You're going to need to have somebody in charge that's able to carry out a vision specifically as a gamer to make that work.
That's why I'm happy to hear that it's McKay, because I think he might. While I don't know his movie pedigree as well as I would like, just going by Lego Batman alone, I can see he does have the chops to even give us literally as simple a story as the D&D Saturday morning cartoon, because I wasn't joking. I still love that, but it was not only very simple, that had very little to do with the rules and the various characters, but like Zorro said, it felt so much like playing through these sessions, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and they were asking which campaign world do you think it should be in. It seems like consensus is saying Faerun. I would want it in Forgotten Realms just for the factor of getting us a chance at a spin-off for a Drizzt film. Because that's what I if you're gonna go with a story that's already written and made and stuff, that's the franchise I want made.
I just think Drizzt.
I can never pronounce his name right. That one I will say that I don't. Yeah,
It's Do'Urden.
It's Drizzt Do'Urden. Yes.
Yeah, I still wouldn't get it. That's bit of a lisp that doesn't work with that.
Drift.
Yeah, I see all the Z's and the I, and I want to say is it, but
what I would give for a dark elf quintet of movies, that'd be amazing.
Yes, exactly. That's what I want. I want to see that. And Jack Malice brings up the D&D cartoon, still one of my favorite shows. I love that cartoon. The kids that ended up going through the ride and ended up in the world of D&D. So, and they're talking about how to subscribe in the chat room. So, yeah, if you guys haven't followed us or subscribed to us, please hit those follow buttons, that subscribe button. We do this every Friday, talking all things nerd, and it's different subjects every single week because we don't know what news is going to be coming out, but we touch on the news topics that are going hot and heavy in the world of nerd and geek. So if there's a story that you guys see throughout the week that you would love to discuss and have us talk about with you and geek out over with you, please tweet it to @MaliceCast and let us know what the subject is, and we will keep track of that and try and get that added into the next week's cast.
Or on Facebook, we've got our MaliceCast group. An excellent place to leave ideas for us because we do check it.
Absolutely. So let's end tonight on a somewhat lighter note of things to talk about. I want to get the little quick details on this story from Igor. Igor was bringing up something about one of my favorite singers because we don't talk enough music stuff as it was brought to my attention. So he wanted to get some music stuff out there, and he told us about the story, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I'll let him bring up the details, and we can discuss that. So Igor, tell us what the whole thing was with Mr. Billy Joel.
Well, Mr. Billy Joel. Love him, hate him, it don't matter. He has been a huge part of probably everybody's lives if you listen to rock and roll at this point. And he's actually about to break a Madison Square Garden record next month. This February 21st show he did at Madison was the 49th consecutive show he did there. And so once he hits 50 next month, new record for the Billy and the Garden. And man, it was funny just looking even at not only at YouTube but even at Yelp. There were just posts all over Yelp of all places too, saying, "Oh, it was so amazing," and swapping nostalgia. It was great.
I got to see Billy at the Hollywood Bowl last year, and the guy's amazing live. So the fact that he's still performing
at a high level, and I've seen some performers that have been around for a long time that just don't sound and look good anymore, and Billy still looks good. So I think it's kind of cool that he's looking to break a record for Madison Square Garden, because that's pretty big stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of weird little musical nerd stuff, I know there's a band that at least a couple of us like called Walk Off the Earth. If you haven't checked them out, check them out on YouTube. They've got some amazing videos. I think I'm going to go see them next week, maybe not this coming Friday, but like 2 weeks from now, March 2nd, whenever that is. Next week, yeah. They're playing at a casino near me, so I'm really looking forward to that. They do really innovative stuff on stage, using a lot of tools and props to make music. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and Red Meat Paws says Billy's on SiriusXM Radio this month, number 39, so for his channel. Yeah, no, Walk Off the Earth I've heard is fantastic live. I had a friend that went and saw him, and you would think, I mean, they do covers of stuff, so their videos on YouTube are amazing, but how good are they going to be live? But
they've got some really good original stuff too.
Yeah,
and they played the halftime at the Vikings Saints NFC Championship game. Or not championship, but a divisional game. And there's a video of that on YouTube, and they're really good live as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that. The happy moment that I wanted to talk about is we've discussed this a number of times when we've talked about people that have gotten Hollywood Walk of Fame stars. One of our favorite people in the world is
not on cast.
Hey, Mr. Mark Hamill.
Yes,
the Luke Skywalker, the Joker, the man, finally getting his star on the Walk of Fame.
Don't forget his amazing portrayal of Cockknocker.
Yeah,
True that.
And he's pretty good as the trickster on Arrow as well.
I loved when they did that with Arrow and the Flash, because that was, I don't know if you caught it, Mr. Zorro, but that was him too, back in the 90s live action show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the original
Flash.
And
playing the trickster. And I think they even used his exact original costume from that series too, in at least one scene.
So I'm assuming you guys said what it was, because my computer went funky. Yeah. Did you say what the tweet was that he said when he got the star?
No.
Announced it. So Mark Hamill tweeted out, "Can't say this is a dream come true because I was never foolish enough to think something like this could ever happen. When part of me doubts I deserve such an honor, I remind myself that someone got a star for just one crappy reality show."
Nice. Shots fired. Shots
So
fired.
I love that he's still got the personality going, even when he actually gets something. It's not just, "Oh, thank you guys for helping me get this" and stuff. But honestly, he's deserved it for a good amount of time. That when there are people that get a Walk of Fame star, and you're like, how the hell are they getting it before this person and this person and this person? And let alone for what he's done with Star Wars. But I mean, as the voice of Joker and stuff like that.
I would actually argue, this may not be the popular thing to say right now, but I would argue if he was only known for Luke Skywalker and that's all he did, I don't know that he deserves a star.
Yeah,
but
I would say the same thing.
Done with Joke. I mean, that is just amazing. The amount of video games and cartoons and things that he's been a part of. Man, it's.
On the stars, they put a little icon for what they're getting the star for. I wonder if they're going to put the movie camera or a radio mic, because the main body of his work at this point has been voiceover stuff.
He's going to get the movie. It's video is what they're doing it for.
Can we just have the iconic Vader versus Luke, like lightsaber scene? Just put that on the star. Because
what they'll never do that they really need to do is the Joker brushing his teeth with a lightsaber.
Yeah, we're getting the all the different things that he's done. Big Hand and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and the voice of the Fire Lord in The Last Airbender. And I still remember the old the Starfighter games that he was part of, when you were like, "Hey, this computer game actually has real video in it."
Wing Commander.
So, Wing Commander 3 was still an awesome game. So, and yeah, he helped make it.
Mark Hamill and Malcolm McDowell, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm happy to see that he's getting a star. Is there anybody else that you guys think should have a star that doesn't have one yet that you know of? I know we talked about James Earl Jones doesn't have a star.
What?
No,
No,
that's kind of ridiculous. Doesn't he have an EGOT?
he's got an EGOT, but
He
he doesn't have a star. Yeah.
He needs to.
So the Walk of Fame sometimes is a little ridiculous for the people that it lets through on it. But yeah, James Earl Jones is one of 6 EGOTs.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head, but
I would have to know who's been snubbed already, who's not on the list.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of them because what was it? Minnie Mouse finally got a star this last year. Yeah, no, true. Yeah.
Before Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Minnie Mouse finally before Mark Hamill, but Mickey Mouse has had a star for I think it's like 40 years.
Sexism.
well, the one that he was denouncing, he was talking about Springer, right?
We give it to non-existing life forms, yet we leave out an amazing human being.
And Pauly Frews does bring up the point that a lot of people pay. Well, they don't necessarily pay for. He says they pay for their own stars, so a lot of people don't get them. They don't necessarily pay for their own stars, but they have to have at least the money put up by somebody to pay for their stars. And I mean, for the longest time over here on K-Rock, Kevin and Bean was trying to get Rodney on the Rock a star forever, and they just couldn't get the money up for him. I know you're making weird faces, I see Zorro, but it was the factor of how many artists he's discovered throughout the years. I mean, he was the one that discovered Green Day and all these other huge artists that never would have gotten radio airplay had he not put them on the radio for the first time. So, and I think it took him about 6 years to finally get it approved where they got him a star on the Walk of Fame. So now he has one.
Yeah, and
Very
I
weird.
think Mark may be getting a little political, feeling like he was, trumped by someone.
I see.
I thought he was talking about Jerry Springer.
Yeah. I
I'm
think
not
he's talking,
feeling.
yeah, no, I think he's talking about somebody else.
I mean, he was always the apprentice until, the last movie when he finally became the master.
The master, yeah.
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't know.
So that is
I
our
feel like that
cast.
statement is bankrupt,
Hey, I got one more little announcement.
Go ahead.
In case anybody forgot, I threw it out there in the chat. But if you're listening or watching, Walking Dead comes back on Sunday, so make sure you're checking that out on AMC. And I know Jack Malice is one of his favorite shows and mine. iZombie's coming back on Monday on CW, so definitely need to check out season 4 of iZombie. I'm super excited for it. It's one of my favorite shows right now. So
Yes, and as
Never would have
always,
guessed.
check out all of our friends. Check out Battle Mage Brewery in San Diego if you have the ability to get there. They make fantastic, tasty brews, and they have a lot of fun over there. Also, check out our friends in Ohio, the Turbo Comics.
Ohio.
Idaho.
God, man, you guys, everybody does that. They're like, I don't even know where that state is. Is it?
Whatever.
Like, we're
In
the-
Idaho, Turbo Comics. Look them up online. If there's something that you're looking for, you can contact them, and they will try to find it for you and send it out to you.
It's
Great group of guys.
Turbo Comics at Turbo Comics ID on Twitter and just Turbo Comics on Facebook. They're really, really awesome guys and gals, and they'll definitely hook you up. I'm actually going to hit them up because I'm missing a couple of my original Watchmen comics.
Nice.
So I'm thinking about finishing that series up. I have the trade paperbacks, but I want the original 80s comics. So I've got most of them, and I'm just missing a couple. So
Okay.
For the endeavor, sir.
And let's, if you guys want, make sure you come back every single week here, Friday 8 p.m. to talk with us. But let's talk about where you can follow everybody. Where can we follow you, Beacon?
yeah, you can follow me at Beacon_Malice Corp on Twitter. You can follow me also on PlayStation Network, same handle, Beacon_Malice Corp. You can follow our newest podcast, Quest for 100, at Quest for Movies. That's the Big Papa Matt and my quest to watch 100 films in theater. So definitely check that out. That's on Twitter as well. You can also follow Nerd Mosh Pit at Nerd Mosh Pit on Twitter as well. That's our other podcast. So
Awesome. And Brad, thanks for subscribing to the channel. We greatly appreciate it with the Twitch Prime account. Where can we follow you, Nudie Rudy?
You can follow me at Nudie Rudy on Twitter and Nudie Rudy on Instagram. Also, Nudie Rudy on PlayStation if you want to follow me there as well. And please remember to follow the official Malice Corp Instagram and get updates on the podcast and the stream as well.
Where can we follow you, Igor?
Well, this time, I'd just like to ask you to follow me on Malice Corp, because in 9 more days, a little anniversary is coming up.
It's ours.
So I wanted to propose a little game.
He's so
for
excited.
everybody here in the cast, and everybody here in the audience. I've actually been hiding a message in every article I wrote since the beginning, just because. But now, on a game of Fiat, and say anybody who can find half of them, I'll take your screen name, and I'll write an entire history of all the words and/or numbers that your name's made out of for you. And anybody who and if the first person to succeed finds everything, I'll do that and pick one fictional nerd or geek icon character, and I'll give you a complete history, the character, the creators, what have you. Full write-up.
Is the message I like tacos?
Paul is dead.
This sounds like the beginning. This totally sounds like the beginning of Big Papa Matt's favorite actor, like a Nick Cage film. Like there's some cipher that's got to be discovered and solved.
It's on the $1 bill.
I brought up the I like tacos because of Jack Malice. He's worried I'm stealing his line. That's his line. So
well, there is an article that Igor wrote about hot sauce. So then that could be it. Which was an amazing article, by the way.
Well, yeah, he does have these different. He's got the article about the energy drinks and now hot sauce. Maybe he's just creating a meal. We got to figure out what the ingredients are to cook this dinner.
Ooh,
okay, your first hint is free. No, the message is there is actually a message hidden inside of the article each time. There's a different message each time.
Until Nudie Rudy edits it out accidentally, and
You son of it.
The unwinnable contest.
Head over to malice-corp.com. Look up any of the articles that are written by Igor, and let us know in the comments or at Malice Corp on Twitter what you think the hidden messages are, and see if you can find that and figure it out and be the first one to win that. Where can we follow you? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, remember, that goes for everybody. So you're racing against the MaliceCast as well, too. Go for it, peoples, please. Deadline is next Thursday.
Okay.
As for me, at Icy Zoro on Instagram, Twitter, PlayStation. I think I pretty much have gotten my screen name everywhere that I've ever wanted it. So, yeah.
Farmersonly.com.
J-Date?
Yeah, H-Date, too. Wait a minute. No.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Mest_Malice Corp. You can also follow me on Instagram at Mest5150. And follow us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Malice Corp, and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Malice Corp. We appreciate you guys checking out our videos and coming over and letting us know how we're doing, what things you like, what things you don't, and joining in on the conversation. Make sure to be back here next Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to discuss all things nerd for MaliceCast Live. And then join us, please, this upcoming Monday as we talk about the journey of Carl on Walking Dead.
Coral!
Walking Dead returns. So myself, Icy Zoro, and Mrs. Malice will be joining you guys to talk about the return of Walking Dead on Monday, and that'll be at 9 o'clock. So thank you so much. We will see you guys soon and shortly, and you guys keep nerding on.
Good night now.
Carry on.
Stay nerdy out there.